Welcome to Mzansi Best Brands. In this episode, we delve into the evolution of Nissan in the automobile industry. Nissan Motor Corporation, or Nissan Jidosha Kabushiki Gaisha, is a Japanese multinational automobile manufacturer headquartered in Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan. The company sells its vehicles under the Nissan and Infiniti brands, and formerly the Datsun brand, with in-house performance tuning products including cars under the Nismo and Autech brands. The company traces back to the beginnings of the 20th century with the Nissan Zaibatsu, now called Nissan Group. Masujiro Hashimoto founded the Kwaishinsha or Kwaishinsha Motor Car Works, also known as Kwaishinsha Jidosha Kojo, a good company automobile manufacturer, on the 1st of July 1911 in the Azabuhiru district of Tokyo. In 1914, the company produced its first car, called the DAT. The new car's model name was an acronym of the company's investors' surnames. It was renamed to Kwaishinsha Motor Car Company Limited in 1918 and again to DAT Jidosha and Company Limited, or DAT Motor Car Company, in 1925. Commercial operations were placed on hold during Japan's participation in World War I, and the company contributed to the war effort. The Zaibatsu eventually grew to include 74 firms and became the fourth largest in Japan during World War II. In 1931, DAT Jidosha Seizo became affiliated with Tabata Casting and was merged into Tabata Casting in 1933. As Tabata Casting was a Nissan company, this was the beginning of Nissan's automobile manufacturing. From 1934, Datsun began to build Austin 7s under license. This operation became the greatest success of Austin's overseas licensing of its 7 and marked the beginning of Datsun's international success. In 1935, the construction of its Yokohama plant was completed. 44 Datsuns were shipped to Asia, Central, and South America. In 1935, the first car manufactured by an integrated assembly system rolled off the line at the Yokohama plant. Nissan built trucks, airplanes, and engines for the Imperial Japanese Army. In November 1937, Nissan moved its headquarters to Xinjiang, the capital of Manchukuo. In December, the company changed its name to Manchuria Heavy Industries Developing Company, or MHHID. In the 1950s, Nissan decided to expand into worldwide markets. Nissan management realized that their Datsun small car line would fulfill an unmet need. In 1952, Nissan entered into a legal agreement with Austin for Nissan to assemble 2,000 Austins from imported, partially assembled sets and sell them in Japan under the Austin trademark. During the Korean War, Nissan was a major vehicle producer for the US Army. After the Korean War ended, significant levels of anti-communist sentiment existed in Japan. In 1966, Nissan merged with the Prince Motor Company, bringing more upmarket cars, including the Skyline and Gloria, into its selection. The Prince name was eventually abandoned, and successive Skylines and Glorias bore the Nissan name. In the 1960s, the brothers Thijs and Andries Becker imported the first Datsun 1000 pickup to South Africa. In 1965, the assembly of Datsun automobiles began at Motor Assemblies. The Datsun 1200 was the first Japanese passenger car to be imported in South Africa in 1966. Nissan South Africa Petit Limited is an automobile manufacturer based in Rosslyn, South Africa, and a subsidiary of Nissan. In addition to Datsun models that were produced between 1967 and 1973, vehicles of the Alfa Romeo brand were also produced. Added to this were Renault models from 1968 and Rambler vehicles from January 1968 to 1969. In the next few years, the product range was supplemented by vehicles from the brands Peugeot and Citroën. From 1971 to 2008, the pickup model Nissan 1400 was built exclusively in South Africa, initially as Datsun 1200, then as Datsun 12Y or 1400. In the years 1976 to 1978, with its brand Datsun, Nissan was the leading supplier in South Africa. In 2014, Nissan had the second largest market share in sub-Saharan Africa, excluding South Africa. In total, around 275,000 copies of the Nissan 1400 were sold. Other models made only in South Africa were the Datsun 14Z in the mid-70s and the Datsun 16Z from 1978 to 1980. In 1973, the company changed its name to Datsun Nissan South Africa, with a focus on producing Nissan products sold under the Datsun brand. Then, in 1983, they became known as Nissan SA, and a short 10 years later became the first South African motor company recognized by the international ISO 9001 and subsequent 14001 quality certification. From 1988 to 2005, the Fiat Uno was manufactured. The end of production is also stated in 2004. Other Fiat models produced by Nissan South Africa have been the Fiat Palio since 1999, the Fiat Siena since 2000, and the Fiat Strada since 2005. The assembly agreement with Fiat was due to expire in 2008. Nissan became the first South African motor company recognized by the international ISO 9001 and subsequent 14001 quality certification in 1993. In 1999, facing severe financial difficulties, Nissan entered an alliance with Renault of France. In June 2001, Renault executive Carlos Ghosn was named Chief Executive Officer of Nissan. In May 2005, Ghosn was named President of Nissan's partner company, Renault. He was appointed President and CEO of Renault on the 6th of May 2009. Under CEO Ghosn's Nissan Revival Plan, NRP, the company has rebounded in what many leading economists consider to be one of the most spectacular corporate turnarounds in history, catapulting Nissan to record profits and a dramatic revitalization of both its Nissan and Infiniti model lineups. Since 1999, Nissan has been part of the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance, Mitsubishi joining in 2016, a partnership between Nissan and Mitsubishi Motors of Japan with Renault of France. The year 2000 saw Nissan Motor Company increase its investment in South Africa by purchasing a 37% stake from the Sanlam Group. This investment gave Nissan control, which was subsequently increased to 98.7%, which was followed by a name change in 2001 to Nissan South Africa. As of November 2023, Renault holds a 15% voting stake in Nissan, while Nissan holds the same stake in Renault. Since October 2016, Nissan holds a 34% controlling stake in Mitsubishi Motors. Nissan re-entered the taxi industry in 2014 with the launch of the all-new Nissan NV 350 Impendulo. Impendulo is the Zulu word for the answer. With it, Nissan aimed to recapture the love and affection of both taxi operators and commuters. In 2017, Nissan was the sixth largest automaker in the world, after Toyota, Volkswagen Group, Hyundai Motor Group, General Motors and Ford. As of April 2018, Nissan was the world's largest electric vehicle EV manufacturer, with global sales of more than 320,000 all-electric vehicles until surpassed by Tesla. In 2022, it was announced that Nissan was intending to create solid-state batteries for electric vehicles. The buzz around new releases signals Nissan's commitment to staying ahead in performance, design and innovation. Renault is confirmed to produce an electric replacement for the Nissan Micra by 2024 to 2025. The Sylphy, Nissan's successful model in the C segment, is also due for a replacement in 2025, potentially as an electric version. Its smallest EV, the Nissan Sakura, is set to receive a facelift and a new battery in 2026, followed by a second-generation iteration in 2029. The Qashqai is set to introduce the e-Power variant, combining electric and combustion power for enhanced efficiency. As of the 23rd of December 2024, Honda has officially announced an MOU to merge with Japanese car company Nissan to become the third largest auto company by sales. Mitsubishi Motors, in which Nissan has 24% ownership, also agreed to join the talks of integration. Honda entered into automobile manufacturing in the late 1960s, where Japanese manufacturers such as Toyota and Nissan had been making cars since before World War II. Previously, Japanese media reported in 1992 and 1993 that Honda was at serious risk of an unwanted and hostile takeover by Mitsubishi Motors, which at the time was a larger automaker by volume and was flush with profits from its successful Pajero and Diamante models. The Japanese automakers aim to finalize the merger by August 2026, although success will partly depend on Nissan's ongoing turnaround efforts. The merger is expected to generate over 1 trillion yen, $6.4 billion, in synergies through a shared vehicle platform, joint research and development, R&D, and streamlined procurement. However, Honda CEO Toshihiro Mibe cautioned that the full benefits of these synergies may not be realized until after 2030. The duo have had to pare back staffing and production in China, while Mitsubishi Motors Corp, which may also participate in the Honda-Nissan combination, has all but pulled out of the world's biggest car market. South Africa is fortunate enough to have 24 vehicles under the Nissan and Datsun brands. In truth, Datsun helped re-establish Nissan in the entry-level market with the mammoth success of the Datsun Go, among other entry-level cars. Considering what Nissan has achieved across the entire range, it's no surprise they're among the top 5 automotive brands in South Africa. This is Mzansi Best Brands, where we bring you the stories behind the brands you love. In a world where logistics is transforming every part of our lives, join us again in our next episode as we dive into the history of other favorite brands and how they've made their mark here in Mzansi. Thank you for joining us as we explored this groundbreaking automobile industry, where we discussed the critical milestones that have played their part at Nissan South Africa. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of Mzansi Best Brands. Time will tell.